trailing by 4. O.J. Howard is split to the right side. They look for Howard. They've got him. One man to beat. He can't get him. Touchdown, Alabama.
Throwing short to Charles Sims out of the backfield. Nice move by Sims. Spinning, he goes in. Touchdown. One goal. Doug Martin. And he tries to break through the wall, reaching for the goal line. The signal is touchdown.
First and 10 from the 20, 2 timeouts remaining. Winston over the middle, caught. Touchdown, Cameron breaks. More
Play action and outside the pocket and deep downfield, and it's caught on the deflection by Adam Humphries for the touchdown. Sean Jackson turns around, Willie Mays tight catch, and Deshaun Jackson, touchdown! My goodness, 80 yards.
He throws, end zone, touchdown, Mike Evans.
He's going to take a shot for the end zone again. Jump ball. Godwin's got a touchdown. Penn State.
Get him, Jay! What you gonna do?
All right. What's going on, Buc fans? This is JT again, back with the 10th Buc Ball Podcast. Took a little hiatus, but I kept a watchful eye on our team, the Bucs, of course. But time to get back into it. Football is almost back in full swing. Hard Knocks is coming out this Tuesday. I'm going to do a podcast recapping every Hard Knocks episode. Also as long as as well as the preseason games. But I recently went to the training camp on Saturday, August 5th. And what Justin Pulowski is doing with the Bucs Uncensored podcast, as far as the stick carriers are going, it is building a fan base like no other. And, well, not like no other. Not like no other that we've had in the past. You know, these other teams, they have their nicknames. You know, you got the Dog Pound, you got the 12s, so on and so forth. Even Beyonce has a fan base called the Beehive, you know, people like that. Well, all this is leading to is us having a home field advantage. And I hope that when I see Bucs games on TV or when I go to Bucs games, you know, it's like Cutter said. He wants the Bucs jerseys in those lower bowls. And in the past, those teams that travel well, which are the teams that we play this year, you know, the Green Bays, the Chicagos, and the teams like that, we need to buy as many tickets as we can and turn our field into a 12th man. I mean, that's just as simple as it got it. The Seattle has that because they have one of the loudest stadiums in the world. So obviously we're not the 12th man, but we are the stick carriers. I think we can all agree that we want our players to play like this. Obviously, this is a movement, but also the stick carriers are a very rabid fan base, and with that being said, winning cures everything. And needless to say, if we don't win, as much as we love the Godfather and as much as we love Jameis, if we don't win, it's going to be harder and harder for us to root for our team than boo our own team. So the reason why I'm saying all that is the hype train is rolling for the Buccaneers. I mean, we are on Good Morning Football, Brian Baldinger, Bucky Brooks, Daniel Jeremiah, all the notable big-name guys as far as NFL recognition goes in NFL Network and ESPN and all them guys are talking about us. It's because they can see the potential. We can all see the potential. And going into year 3 with as many weapons as Winston has, I say there's no reason to doubt that we won't make the next jump. I'm not going to say Super Bowl because if you look at Atlanta, last year they made some upgrades on the offense and everything clicked for them and they ended up having one of the best offenses in the league going Super Bowl. that doesn't mean it's going to happen for every team. But with these new weapons, if he can get acquainted fast enough, and with our defense clicking and understanding Mike Smith's defense, and like he said, they're not playing checkers no more, they're playing chess, or they moved on to trigonometry. I don't remember what the quote was. But if we can play how we did during that 6-game stretch the whole year, we're going to be something to mess with. Now, what I wanted to get to is I went to training camp. Aside from noticing how crazy the crowd was and the fan base was, which was pretty much something that everybody had to listen to, and it was awesome to listen to. As I was trying to watch what was going on, Gerald McCoy looked unstoppable. I mean, he went through the line as soon as the ball was snapped, and he damn near took the handoff. And if it would have been a live game, I don't see how that running back would have held on the ball. But he was unblockable. Another thing, as I'm seeing, is J.J. Wilcox. He's having himself a training camp. Now, Mark Barron also had himself a training camp back when Lovey first started, when he said he's bringing back the Tampa 2, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not reading too much into training camp. I'm waiting till preseason and regular season to see how this works out. But it's a good sign because a lot of people said he was just a big hitter from Dallas. That's why he didn't get that much playing time. But aside from that, another player that just keeps making plays. Chris Godwin. You got Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, Adam Humphries right now. Adam Humphries being a wide receiver 3. I don't see any way that Humphries makes it to wide receiver 3 when the season starts. Wide receiver 4, very definite. Maybe Josh Huff and Dante Dye and all of them getting the scraps. But they're both cheap. They're both cheap players. Chris Godwin is a whole nother level. He brings a whole different game. Adam Humphries is more of, he's a typical slot guy. You want him in there to make the tough catches, and he wants to, get him in space and be slippery. But Chris Godwin isn't just a slot guy. He can move in, he can move out, he can play the X, Y, and Z. It's just, this is one of them NFL problems where it's a good problem to have too much talent. There's only one football, of course, so somebody's going to have to get some snaps, get some reps. That's all good. But I think this job might be Chris Godwin's to lose. I love Adam Humphries. I recently was watching a couple highlight tapes of him. A couple Bucs fans have made. He's a good, reliable person. He's got good hands, but he's not going to stretch the field for you. Chris Godwin runs a 4.4. See him at the combine. Dude flies. I can't say enough about him. I love him. Dirk Cutter says that he doesn't play like a rookie. So it's a ring endorsement. Also, I wanted to talk about is Greg Schiano's sour ass. Because the only reason why a college head coach would say anything about a bunch of young men, no matter how talented they are, on a defensive line in college, would say that this line is more talented than the one he had at the Bucs. Only a salty person would say that. Now, given he was fired, maybe the players quit on him. Nobody truly, really knows. I mean, I'm sure stories come out here and there. But, come on. This is comparing apples to oranges. I mean, you're talking about elite college players getting in the NFL and they're average players. I mean, that's just what happens in college. No matter how talented you think you are, not every single dominant player in college makes the NFL and is talented enough or dominant enough to make the transition. For him to say something like that, I wouldn't read too much into it. If it's me reading the tea leaves, all that means to me is he's a salty old head coach that is still upset about being fired. Yeah, rightfully so. But when you say some nonsense like that, don't expect people to not come at you. That's all I'm saying. Also, our linebacker, Kendall Beckwith, a lot of people didn't even think he'd be able to make it to training camp, or maybe he'd be ready at the end of training camp. Well, it looks like he's ready. He's running around. He was hitting. Him and Devontae Bond are going to battle for that Sam spot. That's going to be another good preseason thing to watch. Now, aside from our roster, getting down to the 53, I don't see much or many slots open that are going to be available. Maybe besides wide receiver and defensive tackle. And as far as that goes, we might get some cornerback depth, but we got Ryan Smith, Brent Grimes, Vernon Hargraves. We got all these guys, Josh Robinson. Most of them are special teams guys / corners, DBs, JV and Elliott, Ajay Barima. As far as roster spots being open and knowing who the backups and everything are, I'd say defensive tackle and wide receiver are the only depth chart spots you need to watch as far as Hard Knocks training camp preseason goes. But the Bucs did make a pick in Stevie Tui Kolivatu that I believe will stick. Not many 6-rounders do stick, but as far as depth goes, this guy's a big, hole-plugging body. Huge guy. Very huge. But he's more of a nose tackle to me, and if the Bucs are planning to do more 3-4 like they say, then that's probably the case. And in 3-4 with the Bucs, you got Noah Spence, Robert Ayers, maybe Gerald McCoy on the outside. I'm sure they're going to switch it up, but you're always going to have maybe Kendall Beckwith, for sure Quan, Levante, maybe Noah Spence can stand up. See how all that goes. But this season has just got me so pumped up. I mean, the national recognition is what I love the most. Because I've always said this. People always get mad. Oh, the Bucs are so disrespected, blah, blah, blah. I was like, of course they are. They don't win. The only reason why the Browns and all them attention is because they're the best at losing. So they're always getting attention. But when you're a middle-of-the-road team that just sucks, if you're not the worst team in the NFL, you're not going to get that much attention. You're just going to on bad teams. Now, with the expectations, or with the chatter, it comes expectations, I mean to say. This team is primed more than I've seen in years. And I was young when they won a Super Bowl and after the Super Bowl and, John Gruden's final years. I was a young man. I was a young kid. And I can remember how everyone respected us just because we had been to the Super Bowl a couple years prior, or we were going to the Super Bowl. But after that, it's a forethought. I mean, we went through coaches and quarterbacks like no tomorrow. But this team is ready. We're ready. I'm not going to say Super Bowl. I'm going to say playoffs. Now, once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. But this is going to be a short podcast. I just wanted to get a couple things off my chest. I wanted to go ahead and see if I still remembered how to use all my programs. I did make the new intro. I hope you guys like the new intro. But after Hard Knocks, I'm going to have a podcast reviewing that. Preseason game, podcast renewing that. I encourage you guys to go to bucballpodcast.com, check out some of the articles. I wrote some pretty good ones, if I do say so myself. I like them. My mom likes them. I mean, she likes anything her kid does. It doesn't matter if I get participation trophy or not. But that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoy. As always, Buc Ball Podcast on Twitter. Talk back. Let's get some debates going. And I'll see you guys later.